handle the truth.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. This is the Thomas Freeme TV and podcast show, live season 3. How is everybody doing, man? Many blessings to you guys. I pray that you guys are well, safe, sound, in good spirits, in control of self. And, if you've been a subscriber of mine, hopefully, finding really who you are, finding self, and coming into that, because again, that's what all of this is about. I have a great show tonight. Again, if you've been seeing some of my episodes, you will see I have some episodes on there with a guy named Frank DePalma, so I will have him on here shortly. But first and foremost, please make sure that you like, please make sure that you subscribe, and please make sure that you share these messages. These messages are for we the people. It's for us. It's a voice for the voiceless. This is what I do. This is what I promised I would do, leaving incarceration and coming out into the free world. Fellas would be like, man, don't forget about the fellas, man. Don't forget about us. And for me, that's what it is, October 2nd is Wrongful Conviction Day, and please make sure that you check out www.cominghomecoalition.com. We got a fundraiser going for supplying care packages to the homeless, so very, very important that you guys check that out, please. www.cominghomecoalition.com. And before we get into with Mr. Frank DePalma, I want to talk a little bit about tonight's show, which is Solitary Confinement. And I reached out to a couple people, and a couple of people actually reached out to me and asked if I was going to have any doctors or therapists or anything of that nature. And the first person that I thought of, and really the only person that I thought of when it come to this subject, was Frank DePalma. Right? Because I understand 10,000 hours. And what I'm going to explain here is, for those that don't know exactly what 10,000 hours is and what 10,000 hours means, is the key to mastery, right? Any particular thing that you do, any particular skill that you do, it takes 10,000 hours to create mastery within that skill. This is physical. This is physically proven. Your brain actually grows in whichever area of the brain is being used for those 10,000 hours repetitiously. It actually grows. Strong muscle there, right? So when we think about 10,000 hours, how long is 10,000 hours? Because when you say it, it really doesn't sound that long, right? But then when you break it down, right, well, a work week is 40 hours, and it's a work year is 1,080 hours. So 1,080 hours, and it takes 10,000 hours of that one particular thing, hitting the hammer on top of the nail over and over and over and over again, for 10,000 hours, right, to create mastery within that skill. This is why a master's degree is accumulated of 10,000 hours of work, schoolwork. So who else? Who else would I ask? Why would I ask a doctor or a therapist? This man has 20,000 hours, doubled over, of solitary confinement. If he's not a master of this skill, if he's not a master of solitary confinement, then who else is, right? A doctor? Why would a doctor be a master of solitary confinement? Because he's never been in one. Now, he may be able to explain some of the effects through research that he's studied, but he's never been inside of a cell for a day, longer, let alone 10,000 hours. So with that being said, let me go ahead and bring my man in, my main man. 22 years. When you see this man, you're looking at a man that did 22 years in solitary confinement. Now think about this, right? Think about this. This man did not see his face for 22 years. He did not see, there's no way to see your face in solitary confinement. When you shave, you gotta just feel it out or whatnot. You do the best that you can, but you don't see your face. Now just imagine and think about that. Big Frank.
Hey, how you doing, Thomas? What's up, brother?
Man, I'm blessed, brother. How are you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing great. It's good to see you again.
It's always a
Man, I
blessing
like
to
your
see you, man.
I like your office, man. It looks nice.
Thank you, man. It's if I want the people to take me seriously, man, I gotta look professional. You know what I mean?
You gotta put some like Norman Rockwell pictures behind you.
No, won't no Rockwell pictures go up here. No Rockefellers, no Rockwells, none of that stuff. Them
Well,
people.
ours is that more about the way the society is or
I don't know
whatever.
what it. What I because what I like to do, Frank, man. What I've learned through my experiences is to let life be life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm turning this into a special little haven for me, and I know that it's empty right now, but things are gonna come that's gonna fit perfectly back here.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean? And I'll just
And
pick something up along the way. Maybe the next time I go to Switzerland, something will pop out and I'll be like, man, that would be beautiful right behind me.
see, like behind you, I know that's for the sound, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That but it's got like an Art Deco thing to it, and it looks cool, right? It looks artistic, and you could build on that. you know, that's what I'm saying. You know, you already got a good start.
Hey man, it's all about building, man. It's like that movie Field of Dreams with Kevin Costner, where he says if you build it, they will come. I'm a
Yeah,
firm believer in that. You know, and for me, it's been proven time and time again through my life because I've built chaos, and that is exactly what came into my life. You know, so why not build something good? Why not build positive and allow that to come in? We're good at building chaos, aren't we, partner?
oh God, man, I did a tweet. I got a thing from some vets in prison follow you. And so I just thanked him. I said, "Hey, man, I'm not gonna say nothing dumb like I hope they're treating you good, you know."
Yeah.
I said, "Because even if they're not directly abusing you, you're being abused in some way. I know that. But thanks for following me." And and they sent back, and I was just thinking, man, just we our stories are different, but our experiences are so much connected, to each other. Have to face down certain people, and the outcome may not be good, but you do the best you can because that's who you are. That's who you discovering that you are anyway. You know, life is just a big test, day after day, and some of those tests, man, they come in waves and they come hard. And there's no time to ask, hey, this is not fair. What did I do? Why is this happening to me? There ain't no time to answer those questions. You just got time to take care of you. And in that process, you begin to lose, that moral compass that may have been instilled in you, that seed, and that you grow as you experience life and people. Uh, that's where we develop into who we are, our belief system, our personalities, uh, our sensibilities, our sense of right and wrong. I was telling someone, I said, I've evolved to the place where, and a lot of people don't understand this, but this is where I've evolved. I said, if someone spits in your face, you're not reacting to the disrespect. You're not reacting to the actual act itself. You're reacting to the idea of it. Well, what do you mean? I said, I can't explain that to you. You got to figure that out on your own. It's right there, though. You know, and I've learned to just, ever since
Well, let's talk about that a little bit because what the listener don't know is you spent 22 years on in,
36 days.
in solitary confinement. So it's and you went into prison at 18 years old, right?
Yeah,
And so your your metamorphosis, I guess you could say, of love through those years is from a whole different perspective
well,
than
no, you want to hear something interesting? And this is like so much validation for me, even though within myself I believe that was right. But I was with a program called WellCare, and it's a pretty good program. And they had this intensive outpatient therapy, and it was like 4 hours every other day, and it was some serious stuff. And there was about 12 of us in the class, and the lady, the psychologist, she says, "Listen, today I'm going to show you a video of a doctor. She has not only a doctorate, but she has numerous doctorates in relationship and love and what they mean. Are they necessary or what is it? And she goes, but before I show it, I want each of you to give me your opinion of, So everybody did. Me, that's my area. So, so I took like twice as long, right? I apologize, but the psychologist is looking at me, and she goes, "Have you ever had any formal training? You know this individual in the video?" I said, "No, ma'am." She goes, "Oh, okay." She goes, "Well, we'll talk later." And I'm saying, I'm thinking, did I say something wrong? She shows the video, and I realize why. This lady was saying, I mean, verbose, man, what I said about relationships. And so after she goes, everybody, we're going to take a 20-minute break. Mr. DePalma, can you remain behind? And I said, sure. See, I'm feeling guilty, but I know I haven't done anything, right? And she goes, so you're going to tell me you've never had any training? You've never seen this video? I said, no, ma'am, I haven't. She goes, so can you tell me how this lady who's devoted her life, her entire life, you can, I mean, come on.
well, but see
Now,
what you are, Frank. What you are, homie, is you're the mythological creature, right? You're the mythological creature in the sense that it's like when I was in a Zoom maybe about 6 months ago, and I'm in there with these representatives, man, and a couple of them had got fly with me, and in the sense where they didn't like my tone, and that I was coming from a place of knowledge is how they said it. You know what I mean? You speak like you're coming from a place of knowledge. You're speaking to people that went to Harvard and Yale, right? And I knew what it was. Their egos were being crushed because it was what I was doing was attacking their knowledge. So they therefore had to shoot down mine and belittle me to back their thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars that went into their knowledge, right? So it's like I told them, and it's just like your example right there. What these people don't understand is we are the example. What they go to school for and study and all of the statistics, we are what they study.
right, but see, listen. And the captain is, and she says, so I said, I know what you're thinking. I said, no, ma'am. I've never studied any of this. I've never read a book about it. And she goes, then tell me how you came to understand so intimately this thing we call relationship. And she goes, and you are detailed. And I said, ma'am, I imagined it. I imagined it all. And that's how I had relationships. I imagined it. It sustained me until that unrequited love couldn't sustain me anymore.
Well, because it's that's the thing is love is so simple. It's not complex. We make it complex. But love is very simple. You give and you will receive, you know?
But yeah, I mean, hey, but it hurts too. I've discovered when you love, and I've never experienced it before in my life. You know, uh, and so people ask me, "How you doing, Frank? You don't sound too good." Well, I'll be gonna be honest with them. I'm gonna tell them I'm experiencing emotions I've never had in my life, and I'm learning new things. And I got this hunger, this need to know and to understand the whys, and because there's a cause and effect for all our actions, for our thinking. There is a cause and effect, and I want to understand it all. I want to understand. Like I too, like you, gave my word to a head gangbanger that I would be their voice, the voice of the convicts, of the truth, and that I would go out there and let the parents know what's happening to their young children that are going in there with 2 or 3 years and ending up with life sentences. And I just simply tell them that they go in afraid and they catch that time because they are afraid. And then they lose the fear because there's nothing to fear anymore. I said I can go out there and tell them that that the truth they believe is nothing but the lies that have been perpetrated for years and decades. And that's the truth that people believe in, which is nothing but a bunch of lies. Because you'll be amazed at how many people don't know what really goes on in prison and what solitary confinement is. I say prisons are the place of the forgotten. Solitary confinement is the forgotten of the forgotten. You know,
Well,
people don't even see it.
let's get into that some. Let's get into the depths of solitary confinement. So first and foremost, let's talk about the first 2 weeks for you, right? Your first 2 weeks in solitary confinement. What did you go to solitary confinement for?
Uh, I was, I told you that story. I
Mm-hmm.
was locked up basically for what they call safety and security, but it really boiled down to institutional convenience. But they changed the words from institutional convenience to safety and security because the courts said you cannot lock these guys up like that for institutional convenience. You got to have a reason.
Right. Okay.
And so in order to circumvent that, they just gave it another name, you know, and uh, and so I was locked up because what it was is there was a bunch of young gangbangers coming in the '90s, the big old explosion, and they thought that some of us heavyweights on the yard, I guess, uh, might have come out of retirement or whatever. I don't know, and which they had it all twisted, man. Number one, I was never involved in the politics. I never got engaged in that. I was fighting literally my own war.
Right.
You know,
Which for the listener, you guys can go catch the previous episodes where Frank really breaks down and gets into detail as to why uh, he ended up in solitary confinement for the 22 years. But ultimately, what it was he had got into some conflicts, and it became a very dangerous situation that the prison really didn't know how to handle. And that's a lot of what we're going to get into is that when there are situations or individuals, human beings that the prison does not know how to handle, quote unquote, which who makes that determination, right? And how how far did they really go to try to handle this human being? But they have solitary confinement. So Frank ended up getting into a situation at this prison where they, as pre mentioned, they didn't know how to handle it, and they stuck him in solitary confinement. So when you get into solitary now, describe that for me if you can remember, and if it doesn't trigger you too much. I'm not here to trigger you
no,
for
that's
ratings or
one thing
anything
I'm
like
not
that.
afraid
So
to do.
I'm just saying,
It'll
if
probably
anything
do that.
bothers you, you just say, hey, nah, not
No,
right now.
listen, now I that's what I'm saying. That's where I've overcome all that. I've been asked, why did you admit in your bio that you became mentally ill? Doesn't that embarrass? And I said, it's beyond my ego and my foolish pride. All of this, man, has taken on real purpose and meaning for me. I said, I don't want a grandiose prison. I don't want it to be made into some kind of superhero kind of thing. I want the truth to be told, man. I want people to know that prisons are nothing but profit making places, and prisoners are just a stock in trade. And that some of the real sick people are the ones that are wearing the badges. You know, I've seen them do more dirty shit that was, first degree murder shit. Uh,
But you get in, so now you're in solitary now. Your first night there.
my first night there, man, it was like, wow, you know, uh, I mean, I didn't have any property anyway. Um, and I'm not the kind of dude that would ask my family for money. And if you ask me if I need, I said no, I'm fine. You know, I never had a TV. Uh, I mean, and because like the first 10 years of my life there, I don't know how many years. Uh, it was, I mean, literally a war waiting to get moved on. But I knew this much, like
So
the
so
old
you
man
were
told
already
me.
incarcerated for 10 years before you went into solitary.
Oh, no, more than 10 years. I came in 75, and I didn't go into solitary until Monday, February 3rd, 1992.
Mm.
I was on the yard a couple of years at Ely.
Well,
Doing good.
so speaking from personal experience, then in an instance like that, that might have only like when you first went in, that might have been kind of a like a reprieve for you, huh?
Oh, uh, I don't know because, no, I didn't know because I woke up. When I woke up in the morning, I was always, hey, how you doing? All right, yeah. Some people don't say a word until I've had my coffee. Don't even look at me. People are really not me. I'm ready to have a conversation. I'm getting dressed. You know, uh, so no, there was no like, I get to breathe now. The only thing is that I did appreciate was not having to be concerned about anybody else. My celly, which I didn't have a celly out there, but nobody did. But it came to, before I got out of prison, they did have cellies, and I was at a medium custody. And so I had to learn to live, and I was a good celly. I always asked them, what kind of a celly am I? I said, man, you're a good dude, Frank. And you're easy. I said,
Yeah,
I'm all right, good enough. I'm the one that cleaned the cell. I told him, you don't worry about it. I'll do it. Because
yeah,
I know it gets done, right?
yep, yep, yep.
And but, and something, for the nightmare that it was. I mean, I say that I lived two hells. The first 10 years of my life there became a living hell. Now, I don't know how I survived it, but I did, by the grace of God, I guess. Uh, and then, and then, and plus the medication that they were shooting me full of, massive overdoses. Uh, I was afraid of losing my mind. The drugs, the psychotic drug, and then as
What
punishment.
kind of medication did they give you? Did they make you
Oh,
take the medication?
yeah, they would shoot me with the beanbag stun gun, with this 12 gauge shotgun. And, they know what that thing does to you. And they shot me because every time they came, I say no. They'd open the door, boom, and I'd be knocked against the wall, down on the ground. Once you get hit, you're going down. And finally, but that drug took effect. It was Prolixin. And Prolixin, based in sesame seed oil and shots, is by law 1 cc a month or 2 cc's bi-monthly. And Dr. Freeman, who turns out to be a convicted ex-felon who got 8 years, did 8 years in the Michigan State Maximum Security Prison, and still got hired by the Nevada Department of Prisons. And we got that in the book. We got that in the book. And to prove everything that I've said. And that's what my book is about. I'm telling the whole truth. I'm telling because it means everything to me. I got to get the truth out there. Not because I gave my word, but because, and the only way to get people to understand it is if I just put myself out there. It doesn't matter if it gets too hard. If I cry, I don't care. I
So
don't care. My tears are the blood of my soul.
so in our
My
in our
tears.
in our conversation earlier, we were when I was letting you know a little bit about what tonight was going to be about or whatnot, you know, I had made the comment, we're going to talk about solitary confinement. Is it good? Is it bad? And you made the comment, only when it's voluntary it can be good.
Yes.
So explain that to me.
Like there was an interview with monks, and I was listening to it, and they were speaking about their 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 quest for enlightenment, and that's their journey in life. And isolation, complete, isolating your own self from anyone, contact or speaking or whatever. Um, it is a struggle. It goes against our human nature. It goes against everything that combines that makes us human. And so, but they're directing their focus into another energy, not themselves. And so, in that sense, it's good because they let go of themselves and they open themselves up to something bigger. And I respect that. But when you take someone who's already been disenfranchised from society because the judge said, "Hey, you got to go. You broke the law, and now you got to pay the price," and then they send you to that place. The old saying, we're sent here as punishment, not for punishment. But they don't seem to look at it that way in there. We're there to be whatever they want us to be.
So you would say that there are some positive effects to solitary confinement?
Very early on, yes. For the first several years, actually, in between my battling the guards and stuff, uh, I had absolutely nothing to connect with.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any property. And so what did I do? I connected with myself.
Mm.
And I really, in those years, I came to know myself, man. I came to know some ugly truths. Some, some like, wow, wow, how can we deceive ourselves like this? We live in self-created illusions, and I lifted that veil, and woe be to me because now I can't lie to myself. And so, but that's boosted me up because I don't have to lie to myself, and I won't. Why should I lie to you or anybody else? What are you gonna do? Judge me? Oh, geez, don't do that, please. You know, uh, I've been my own worst critic,
I mean,
but
that's
I've learned.
that's exactly right, man. That's why, like, when I tell people, it's it's crazy, man. Because like when I tell people I will not lie, that's exactly it. Like how you just explained it is exactly what that means, you know. And it's like people just don't understand. It's like they've convinced themselves that even a small white lie is okay. You know what I mean? It's okay just to tell white lie, but who determines whether that what is a white lie? You know what
Exactly,
I mean? Who determines that? Because what you think is a white lie may not be, it may be catastrophic to me.
exactly, exactly.
And it's like it's crazy how people justify their mannerisms, you know?
Well, and they don't realize that it's also being selfish on their part that they're too embarrassed or ashamed to say, like, no, don't be you with me. Be sometimes drugs or whatever our problem is can cause us to act out of character. We step outside of our true selves and we're ashamed, we're embarrassed. But don't compound it like with someone that you know cares about you. Don't compound that with a lie because you create a chasm that oftentimes when you break a trust, it can never really be repaired. So please, please,
And when you're dealing with people like us, Frank, of course you know, but for the listener, when you're dealing with people like us, when like for me, I always extend my trust first, right? To a certain degree, of course. But I always make the initiative. I always give this person the benefit of the doubt out of the gate. So they can never hold anything against me, and I give you your own rope to hang yourself with, because I know when push comes to shove, you're gonna lie. I know it. All I gotta do is just sit back and wait on it. That's all I gotta do is just sit back and wait on it, and allow you to hang yourself. And I tell people out of the gate, Frank, I tell them, whatever you do not lie to me. Do
Yeah.
not lie to me, because even your so called little white lie is gonna make me think, if you can lie to me about that, you'll lie to me about anything. That's what I tell them, but they still choose to lie, Frank. What can I do, partner?
Because they can't get over themselves. Their egos and their foolish pride is so much more, given so much more credence than their actions themselves. And there's no introspection. Like, I'm sure there came a point in your life where you went deep into introspection, because you made some serious decisions
What?
that changed the course of your life.
Yeah, no
And
question
you
about
did
that.
that on your own. You did that on your own.
Yeah, no question about that.
That's where
Without
you deserve the pat on. That's why I kick it with you.
without
'Cause
giving out too much, homie, because I want to leave some for the book. For the listener, Frank DePalma does have a book that's in the progress, um, process in the process, and will be coming out soon. But let's how how dark did it get for you, and where did you begin to break at in solitary? Like earlier you said, to an extent in the beginning it can be a positive thing.
yeah,
When does it turn dark?
when I couldn't get to know myself any better, I got tired
Oof.
of being in my own head,
Amen. Brother,
and
well
so
said.
and so I stepped out to, I don't know, to connect with what, I don't know. I'd forgotten that there was nothing to connect with because I was so into myself. I don't mean that sounds really uh, vain, but that's what I'm saying. Uh, I learned a lot, but you can only connect with yourself so much. And I started to think about the only girlfriend that I ever had. That on our first visit, I told her, "You can't come up here anymore." And how I was thinking about this. I received a letter from her. It was a big old thick envelope, and I held it for a couple of days, and then I threw it away. And to this day, I regret not reading it.
Mm.
But I started thinking about that, and I was always an emotional, feeling sensitive kind of kid, and I craved that interaction. I'm a hugger, a cuddler, uh, and
Yeah, me too.
yeah, yeah, and then all of a sudden I was aware that I didn't have that anymore. I didn't have that anymore, and and that hurt. That put it like a. It was a pain that was inside, but it emanated, and the more I realized that was gone.
Mm.
Uh, excuse me.
No, you're all right, man. And these are the things that people that they don't understand. They can't conceptualize. They can they it's just unimaginable. They can empathize, they may even be able to sympathize, but they just cannot understand. It's not so much about being in the solitary confinement, right? It's what you're dealing with now. You know what I mean? It's what you now, as an American citizen, are trying to, you have been released from prison and told to go out and produce and have your second chance, right? And you were just left there to figure it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And here you're looking at what the ladies and gentlemen are looking at now is an 18-year-old boy who has no life experience in social economy,
No.
just in civilization other than prison. His whole adult experience has been in prison,
Yeah.
and now he's not in prison anymore.
And there's this thing I got to tell you. People don't get it, but excuse me. This I have a problem with time,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why, like, when I say how long I've been in solitary, it came to me through just an emerging slap in my face when time all of a sudden, and I was out. I was already out of prison. When during a conversation at the table, the reality of how long I did in solitary confinement and such a waste of time, of years, precious years. And we only have so many years on this earth. And 22 years and 36 days in that empty cell. And what I went through was just a complete waste of potential, you know, all because I said no to being a gangbanger. All because I defended myself from an attempted rape. Everything got, you know, even I got twisted. You don't wake up every day for years and years and thinking, is today going to be the day that I'm going to die? You know, that wears you down, man. But it also erodes your morals and that compassion, that empathy. It starts to erode away at that. And you become cold and hard. And you're not even aware of it. Just like in solitary. But time, it stopped meaning anything to me. I did not think of time. I had that towel in the window day and night for years and years and years. Half of it had turned to dust when they pulled it out. But I said, holy crap. Wow. And now I'm out here and people say, you want to have lunch? Yeah, but when? Now? No, man, it's just breakfast. Well, but what time do you want to do? I just have issues with everything is based around time out here.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even think of what time is it? Is it almost supper time? Or have I had supper yet? What the hell did I care? This thing opened up now and again, and I would grab a tray. And that's a mental habit pattern. I don't have to think about that. That becomes something just like I don't recall getting up in the morning, making the bed, washing, exercising or washing myself. I don't remember doing that,
Yeah.
but I did, you
Yeah,
know.
it's just cruise control, you
But
know.
see, when it gets to be too bad, when the pain of being alone,
Hmm.
when being alone, when aloneness and loneliness and emptiness becomes more than just a statement to express one's emotional state of being, when it becomes something a reality, which it did for me, it became a place that existed yet it doesn't exist, and I became a part of that. I became a part of that to escape a world that didn't want me no more, in a world that I knew I didn't belong to anymore.
Yeah.
It hated me.
Yeah, those are facts. Well, Frank, thank you for coming on the show. It's been an honor. For the listener, we'll be having Frank on from time to time. Here when I get established and get an open night, Frank may just call in one night and want to jump in on some of the conversations and such. But I do want the listener, please go back and listen to the episodes that I did with him. So, to give you a further in depth look at what it is that we're talking about and what Frank has so eloquently described in such few words, as men of wisdom do. But Frank, I'm gonna let you go from here, partner. I'm gonna close the show out. You did great, partner. You did great, man. And you're learning this stuff, man. You're coming right along.
Well, thank you, Thomas. You helped me along. You make me feel relaxed. So, and I know I ain't got to hide nothing from you because you already know. You
Yeah,
know, so I can't pull the wool. And I wouldn't try. You know,
yeah.
but and that's what
It's
I
all
like
about
about.
growth and self betterment, partner. And I love you as my brother. And we're here, man. We're doing it. So I'm always here for you, man. You
Hey,
take it easy.
really, man. I've listened to. I meant, and I did check out some other podcasts that you were talking about.
Yeah,
And you know what, man? They're they're entertainers, man. That's
yeah.
all. And I appreciate. I'm proud of you, man. Get on, brother. Because yeah, you're real.
Well, I
And
appreciate that too. It's for me. It's more about, again, people that are suffering, and it's I don't. What irritates me the most is when somebody comes out of prison and they label themselves as convicts, because I hold that, for me, like that word convict, and we'll use this here to close this out with you, but that word convict.
you just see that?
That word convict to me is a lifestyle. Like, I'm a convict out here. I consider myself a convict at all times, because for me, look at you, man. For me, right, convict is a lifestyle. It's not just a word that I use to get through
No, it's
uh,
another term for saying a man, being a man,
doing it right. That's exactly it. And
minding your
but you get these
business.
guys that come out and they label themselves as such, and knowing, I mean, like, they know that they weren't cut like that. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
then they'll
yeah.
put that this show, these shows out there. But the people like to be entertained. When the people want information, they know to come here. Other than that, but listen, Frank, man, I got to get out of here and close the show out,
All
partner.
right.
You take
All
care of
right. Thank
yourself,
you,
man.
Thomas. Later.
Much love. Thank you, Frank,
All
for
right.
coming on and sharing your emotions with
Anytime,
us.
brother. Anytime.
Yeah. So, peace.
I just sit here all day. What do I do?
Peace out, brother.
All right, brother. Later.
My good brother right there. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I try to keep it within the scope of 30 minutes, man, but it's very hard, because these are in-depth things, man. I'm just not up here jiving and just coming up and just talking about stuff. Like, we're trying to get to the root of the issue, man. In solitary confinement. Is it good or is it bad? Is it can be. I've been in solitary confinement. My longest stay was 6 months. And of course, the first 2 weeks. It's always the first 2 weeks, no matter where you go. It's always the first 2 weeks, whether you go to jail, start a new job, move to a new town. After about 2 weeks, you get acclimated. You get adjusted, and it's just who you are. It's either going to break you or make you, like they say. But it's unimaginable for me. 22 years. But one message I don't want to let pass up, and especially dealing with our youth today. What I want our youth to understand is that this man went into prison at 18 years old with a 10-year sentence, right? The reason why he went in to prison with a 10-year sentence, right? And the reason why he went to solitary confinement, got in trouble with the gangs, got all the issues, the way that the reason why this man's life turned out the way that it did, all stemmed from one emotional decision. That is what is so important about what I'm trying to do and get our American citizens to understand, is that these people are sitting back waiting for us to make that one wrong decision. They know what's going to happen. They implement it. They put it everywhere. They put alcohol in every corner in the poor communities. You know what I mean? They put drugs and all of this stuff is everywhere, waiting for us to make that one wrong, bad decision. He made an emotional decision. A man ran over his dog, didn't stop, showed no care. This dog was his brother, was the only friend that he had in the world as a young, pretty much left alone 18-year-old kid. And, I mean, he jumped in the guy's truck, He saw that the guy left the keys. This is back in the 70s. He saw that the guy left the keys in his truck. He jumped in the guy's truck and lost control of the truck. He was just, trying to speed around, whatever. Lost control and drove the truck into the house. So they ended up giving him 10 years. And you'll have to go and catch the prior episodes to find out how he ended up doing 42 years in prison. 23 of those, might as well say, in solitary confinement. But the point of that for my youth, my little homeboys and little homettes, right, is one emotional decision can change your life. Your life can change in a moment, good or bad. But that emotional decision is 9 times out of 10 usually the wrong one. Don't take that first emotional step, because these people are waiting in the clutches to grab us up and convict us, give us convictions so that we lose our voting rights, we lose our gun rights. Then we got to turn around and apply for them, but they have control over who gets them back and who doesn't. They're trying to convict as many of us as they possibly can. So we have to be smarter, be better, and it all just stems into just being a good person, essentially. Understanding, having patience, knowing that other people are going through things, not allowing one person's emotions to take us out of our emotions, essentially just not being a puppet to anybody. Not being a puppet. So with that being said, I'm out of here, guys. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please look forward to Saturday night. www.cominghomecoalition.com. We need stuff, man. We need soaps. We need clothes. We need stuff for the homeless. Let's go, man. Y'all acting like you don't want to do nothing for the homeless. Everybody wants to sit around and talk about the homeless. But here, you got an organization that is willing to go out and get these people what they need here in the Tampa Bay area. But I need help. I need help. So, with that being said, man, y'all take care of yourself. Be your best self. Be your best self, man. And look out for the people in our communities. Start looking out for our communities. We need leaders in our communities to step up, get involved in the public education system, get involved in child foster care system, parent court. Like, all of this stuff, man, is crazy going on. And we have to come together and start protecting one another, man. Please. Or life is going to change as we know it. So, Thomas Freeman, man, I love you guys.